Are you considering a move to the Twin Cities and you're wondering, why would I want to move there? Well, I'm going to share 10 reasons why I love the Twin Cities and why I think that you would fall in love with them too. Number one is the vibrant arts and culture. We have world-renowned theaters, museums and galleries, hundreds of music venues, big and small, and annual festivals and events. We have so many different kinds of festivals. There's music festivals, festivals that celebrate cultural diversity, Twin Cities Pride, which celebrates the LGBTQ community, and outdoor art fairs like Art World. The nice thing is that these festivals and events don't just happen in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I would say most, if not all, Twin Cities suburbs have their own community events throughout the year. Of course, when I'm talking about big fairs and festivals, I have to mention the Minnesota State Fair because it's the second largest state fair in the country, which Texas did beat us on that. But Minnesota really goes all out with the live performances, the car shows, rides, petting zoo, information booths, artwork, and pretty much anything you can eat on a stick. Number two is the awesome nightlife. Now I realize the hundreds of music venues falls into this category as well, but we have nightclubs and cocktail bars, dive bars, lots and lots of dive bars, sports bars, speakeasies, and 81 different breweries. The North Loop is definitely a local favorite for a night out. It gets super crazy on the weekends, and Cuzzy's is a bar over there in particular, and that is always super packed. So if you love bar hopping, it's a great place to check out. But if you're not too much into the bar scene, we have Broadway shows, concerts, and dance and theater performances. Number three, the state parks. These parks have prairies, lakes, rivers, forests, and waterfalls, and they all have their own trail systems. So if you wanted to go for the day, you could hike a couple trails and head home. But if you wanted to make, say a weekend of it or an entire week, there are primitive camping options if you don't mind digging a hole. But don't worry if you're not into that. They have a lot of options for more modern campgrounds. And if you're into backpacking, there's the Superior Hiking Trail and the Tedigoche State Park, which are super great for that. And while I realize that they're not in the Twin Cities, it's nice to have a place to go adventure that's less than 4 hours away. Number four, the lakes. Minnesota has over 11,000 lakes, and 450 of those are within the Twin Cities. It's awesome because it feels like you never run out of things to do in the summer, even when it gets too hot, because you can just take out the kayak or canoe or paddleboard, if you're feeling more active. But even if you're feeling lazy, just grab a floaty and take it to the beach and float around for the day. It's nice because there's a lake or beach close to or in every Twin Cities suburb as well. So it's like you don't have to drive across the metro in order to enjoy it. Even when the lakes freeze over in the winter, you still have options to go ice fishing or snowmobiling. And Lake Nokomis even has an annual amateur hockey tournament every year. And trust me, it's nice to have events going on in the winter. Number five, the rivers. One of the best ways to spend a warm summer day in Minnesota is to grab a cooler, get yourself some snacks and some drinks, and drive down to the Cannon River or maybe the Root River, which is a little bit farther out. There you can rent a tube from one of the companies, and depending on what time you start, you can really spend the entire day there. You can float down for a little bit and then jump off on a beach and go swimming for a little bit. Some of these rivers have options for cliff jumping, but just be careful doing that. If you prefer kayaking, the St. Croix is super awesome for that. But if you're kind of looking for a lazier kayak, definitely check the wind forecast before you go. Floating down Minnehaha Creek used to be really popular, but several years ago, my friends and I used to go. A lot of people fell off, a lot of people popped their tube, and usually the water is really low. And more recently, there's been E. coli in the water, so people have been getting sick. So we usually stick to getting outside of the city for river floating activities. Number 6 is that it's biker friendly. Minneapolis is consistently in the top 5 for best bike friendly metro areas, and there are hundreds of miles of bike trails, hundreds of miles of bike lanes. Some of these bike lanes are actually protected, so there's a curb between the road and the bike lane, which is really nice to feel a little bit safer. And the Greenway is definitely a biker favorite. It's tucked away from cars. It's only for bikers. There's lots of trails that go to the chain of lakes, which is awesome. It's really beautiful down there. It's also really convenient. And sometimes you can actually get somewhere faster by biking the Greenway than you can if you were to take a car. It's awesome. Number 7 is the park system. St. Paul and Minneapolis rank number 2 and 3 on the list of cities with the best park system. And that's probably because we have thousands of parks covering something like 54,000 acres. And a lot of these parks have scenic trails, a variety of recreational facilities, there's beautiful landscapes and lake access. Minnehaha Park is really beautiful. It has a 53-foot waterfall, and the park is huge. The upper part, where you can see the upper part of the falls, you can just have a picnic if you want, or grill with your friends. And then the lower part has a few trails that lead down to get like a lower scenic view of the falls. And it's just a really lovely place to spend the day. Number 8 is that we have all 4 seasons. Summer is awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, there can be some really humid days, and those are the days you usually want to go float on the river or take a floaty to the lake or something like that. But those days that are 75 or 80 and not very humid are definitely the days that Minnesotans live for. And those days of going up north to the cabin or just even gathering in a friend's backyard to grill or just going on a walk, because it's so beautiful outside. And then you have fall, which is nice because the temperature drops a little bit and it's just that perfect, nice, cute sweater or hoodie weather. And the leaves start changing colors, and it's just really beautiful everywhere you go. And especially if you go to the Superior hiking trail, absolutely gorgeous up there. It's just a really nice change from the summer when everything goes to green to just multicolored. Then you have winter, which does tend to get pretty cold, but it is really beautiful when the snow falls for the first time and you have all the holiday lights. Then you have the opportunity to do all the winter activities. And even if you're not into a ton of winter activities, it is kind of nice to slow everything down because you have so much to do in the summer because you're trying to live up every second of the warm weather. And so when winter finally hits, it's kind of just a recharging time. And of course, then you have spring. Spring is awesome because the winters sometimes can last longer than most people like, and it feels so good when the temperature hits 30 degrees and you just see that light at the end of the tunnel. You see that winter could be over and you're going to be able to go outside again. Number 9 is the food scene. The food scene here is amazing. I love it. There is so much variety. There's tons of different international cuisines, and really you just can't get sick of eating out here because there's so many different options. So if that's something that you like, if you like to try out new restaurants, it's going to be great for you here because you have the option to do that. You can try out a new restaurant, I don't know, probably 3 times a week and still take years to get through all of them. It does not matter what kind of experience you want. If you want fine dining, or if you want to go to like a food court kind of thing, or if you want to go to that hole in the wall that has those really good chicken wings, or there's some hole in the wall bars that have really good burgers. Doesn't matter what you're looking for, you will find it here. Number 10 is that Minnesota just passed a bill to legalize recreational marijuana use and sales, and they just passed a bill to make college free for undergraduates starting in fall of 2024. I don't think I need to go into detail about that because I think you can already understand for yourself how awesome that is. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you love the Twin Cities, and go ahead and let me know if you hate them too because I'm curious why. Have a great day.